So, March 16 video, a look at the grand plan over the next couple of years, some notes on living aboard, a tour around the outside of the harbour at low tide, some lazy maintenance task, a very important camera quality test, and a quick video on harbour security. The plan is simple. Sail around the Bristol Channel for a year, get my skills up, practice lots of things, kit the boat out and head off to the Mediterranean, to the Greek islands in particular, an area that I absolutely love, and spend as long as I possibly can down there, 2 or 3 years, going into the different, visiting the different harbours, visiting the different islands and so on. So that's it. Quite how I'm going to make that happen, I'm not 100% sure yet. I need to kind of practice on the financial side, on the kind of independent side, getting the electricity worked out so I can live on the hook and all that sort of stuff. But I'm absolutely determined to do it. And yeah, that's kind of the big thing. Actually, incidentally, the Mirage 28, and I didn't know this at the time when I bought her, they were designed for chartering in the Greek islands, so you get a family of 5. And do you know what, she was the ideal boat because I very nearly went for sort of the more seaworthy style, depending on money. My budget wasn't huge, £10,000. It's not a lot for a boat. It was either going to be a Hurley 22, perhaps too small, Halcyon 27, ideal boat, lovely boat, fantastic boat, or a Halmatic 30. Really couldn't afford that. They're probably twice as much as my budget. In the end, I'm very pleased that I went for the bigger, fatter, boat with a bit more room inside. Very, very easy to live aboard. Living aboard hasn't been an issue. It just hasn't. It hasn't been a problem at all. You just got to get rid of a lot of stuff, and if you're happy living in small spaces, which I am, then it really isn't a problem. What's really helped, particularly over the winter, is the fact that I've got a fantastic desiccating humidifier, which keep on pretty much all the time. And the good thing about desiccating ones is they work in the cold. They're not reliant on the physics that I barely understand about dew point and all that sort of stuff. So that really helped. You can hang your towel up and it will be dry, and all I need is a tiny little electric heater. At some point in the future I might go to diesel heating. There's all sorts of potential changes, but I've got plenty of time to make my mind up about that as the year goes by. I did do a boat tour in one of the diaries that I put it recently. That was my 2 weeks holiday when I actually bought Serenity and sailed her over from Nayland in Pembrokeshire in Wales. And one of the changes I've made is put some drawers in. I've used these 45-litre plastic containers. I just sort of put something together as a proof of concept and haven't really changed it since, but they kind of slot in and hook in quite nicely. And there's even space behind them for sort of hanging stuff. So space-wise, I'm absolutely spoiled. It really hasn't been a problem at all. So here is an aerial view of the harbour. You can see the kind of the two bits, the inner and the outer. The inner bit here, you can see that's full of water. That's currently half full of mud, and that's what they've been dredging out. So we want to get that to a depth, an overall depth of about 2 metres. And it dries out to about 1.5 to 2 miles because the massive tidal range of 12 metres here. So let's have a wander around and see what's outside. Right, so here's a view from, it's pretty much exactly low tide now. It's on neap, so the range is about 1.2 to 10 metres or something. This is the outside of the harbour, and the sort of where that drying is, that's about 5 metres above chart datum, and you can see how high the walls are. And this is the view from the top down to where I was standing. So this is the harbour from kind of a bit towards the east, looking straight at the entrance. This is more or less the transit that you would take if you're coming in. It's not very far on the other side of that the steam train line is running actually. Because when I first came in here, it's one of the reasons I did know I was definitely going to the right place, because the steam train arrived at about the same time, so I saw these big plumes of white smoke coming up, and I thought, yeah, that's got to be Watch It then, because for some reason it just looked different from the sea to what I'd imagined. This is the first steam train of the season coming in February, and let's use it to transition as I quickly walk across to the other side, to the west beach, which is the other side of the harbour. What a lovely train. So I've come over to the west side, the west beach, and it looks gorgeous, doesn't it? This is obviously the artist's impression, so let's see what it actually looks like. So this is the way down to the pleasure beach. Just a few little notices which are really just health and safety gone mad, to be quite honest. So here's the reality. Not many, or despite the fact it's a really nice day, there's not many children playing about and sailing little boats and things in the pool. But you can see that it would be a joyous place to spend your summer holiday. Actually, see these rocks in the corner? That's kind of what it's like throughout. So actually this is really good for children, because they can practice what happens if you get your foot stuck between two sharp rocks, and what happens when you fall over in shallow water and there's jaggedy spiky things. So, you know. So this is the outlet from the stream, which comes out. It's been changed actually. This used to come out into the harbour, and some say that it's since they diverted it that the mud problems have got particularly bad, because it used to wash the mud out, at least in a bit of a channel. And you can see, if I pan round, just how far it is from the harbour mouth. And this is from the other side, and you can see by the green marks on the wall that the water really it goes up to that pipe actually, which is very nearly up to where the windows are. And over in the corner there's a sort of a courtyard, and they do have a steel door to put down when it gets very, very rough. So this can get quite tempestuous, and the waves can actually push their way through through that tunnel, and it gets quite splashy around here. But what a lovely view, what a lovely place to live. Perhaps not the most observant person in the world. I've been up for hours and sort of stood up and turned around and noticed that the ceiling is significantly sagging. So it was a bit bumpy last night, and I think that sort of popped down. So I hadn't meant to actually take this off for, oh gosh, ages, because there's kind of no point. But I now need to make the decision. Shall I actually take it off and have a look underneath? I'd be very interested to, but it's going to be a pain to get it back up. But I think I've probably got to find out why that it wasn't screwed in there properly, and if that goes into the core or whatever. Anyway, as I say, not the most observant person in the world. Ouch, bumped my head, damn it. Not the most observant person in the world. Well, there's the pragmatic solution. The screw was actually a little bit shorter than the others, and you can obviously feel there's a wooden batten at the top there, and I think actually it had been sagging for a while. I had noticed that. So rather than take the whole lot down, I just got a screw that was the same size as the others, and now it's absolutely solid. So, the compass. I knew there was a problem with the thing broken off at the top of the light, but I didn't realise until the first time I used it at night. And you just get dazzled, you can't see any numbers or anything. Impossible to find a second-hand replacement or a new one. So I cut a piece of pipe, wrapped some epoxy resin around it, cut it to shape, and fitted it on. Seemed to work okay. I did a quick test before I finalised it. Taped it up and then painted it. Unfortunately, I did it in gloss rather than matte, which would have been better, but anyway, it works fine now. You can read it, it's not too bright, it's absolutely perfect. The next thing I wanted to do is I really need to get my cameras sorted out. My old camera is well past the sell-by date, so I thought I'd do a quick comparison side by side of two cameras, including one that's much, much smarter. So really, I'm not sure how this is going to work. What I've done is I've set up sort of both cameras next to each other, and then I'm just going to video, and then I'm going to switch from the one to the other, and then just see if there's a difference in sound quality, in kind of looks, whether or not it's You know, you can get a better kind of, I don't know, we'll see. And I don't know whether or not it'll be worth it. What are we saying here anyway? What are we expecting this to do and spending all this money on this brand new camera? Is it going to be worth it? What do we think? I don't really know. What am I expecting? Perhaps a little bit more clarity from it'll make me look a bit younger. That will be kind of nice, yeah. Or maybe, oh, ouch, ouch, that's got to keep bumping my head. A bigger picture, a bigger, broader look at this thing. And maybe then, who knows? We can kind of think that maybe it's worthwhile putting the outlay, but really the proof is in the pudding. And all you can keep doing is trying and smiling and really just making sure that what you're doing is really based on the best quality that you possibly can do. And that really is all we can expect to do, to be quite honest. Well, to be quite honest, I'm not very convinced. I think the second one just makes my hair look grey. Anyway, before we go, a quick word on harbour security. By the way, just to say they do take the 3 mile an hour speed limit here very, very seriously, and if anybody is thinking of actually transgressing that, well, you better think twice. That's all I'm saying.